So, this topic is probably one of the most thought of topic ko. But we often see the expression opposites attract in movies, teleserye, books, and in real life. But studies say that it's not true. So, yeah. Like, naranasan niyo na ba na magka-crush sa isang taong wala naman kayong similarities, pero sometimes, yung dililu nating friends, they'll say na, it's okay, opposites attract. And I actually told my ex-boyfriend about this once. I actually asked him, like, bakit kaya wala tayong similarities? Even in hobbies, interests, political stance, worldview, and he actually said the same thing na okay lang yan, opposites attract. But studies are disagreeing. So, research from CU Boulder in Colorado reviewed na people are most likely looking for partners who mirror their traits. Like 82 to 89% ng key traits ay nagpakita na partners are likely to be alike in terms of political leanings, habits, values, and even the age of their first sex. So yeah. So, in this study, nakitaan ng high correlations in political and religious attitudes, level of education, and IQ number. There are also some correlations pagdating sa number of sexual partners, and ang pinakamataas ay birth year. Actually, I'm not surprised. And in the meta-analysis, the researchers found that there is no compelling evidence on any trait that opposites attract. Apparently, more likely tatagal kayo ng partner mo if you share the same traits, grew up in the same city, or some couples grow more similar the longer they are together. So, maybe first, opposite sila, but as they live together, as they stay together, they grow more similar to each other. Pero, paano yung mga couples na opposites pero matagal na? Like, we're not saying na opposites can't be together. They absolutely can. Because right now, what we're talking about here is the attraction, not the reasons they're staying. But, I can discuss that in another video or Substack article if you want. But I think this notion comes way back. Like, growing up, we were also fed the same thing over and over again. Like, for example, our favorite Disney movie, The Little Mermaid. So, Ariel and Eric are the textbook example na opposites attract. Like, Ariel is fascinated sa land while Eric loves the ocean. And Ariel is like this chaotic, impulsive creature of nature who acts entirely on emotion. Si Eric, yung Prince Charming niya, is a structured, very duty-bound prince who anchors ships and, leads kingdoms. And they don't look at each other and see themselves. They look into each other and see an open door to completely different worlds. And actually, in Filipino teleserye, mas malakas or mas dalas nating nakikita yung story trope na to. So, it's always the rich versus poor, city versus province, or grumpy versus Miss Sunshine or Mr. Sunshine. And the perfect example I found is Katniel's Got to Believe. So, si Chichay and Joaquin. And dito nakita natin na si Joaquin is like this mayaman, cynical, and dahil sa health condition niya, his life was devoid of joy and risk. While si Chichay, a very poor but very optimistic and very hopeful as well. And they don't have the similar traumas or upbringing, but their chemistry is all about complementing each other's traits, not mirroring them. And maraming ganito sa Philippine cinema and teleserye. Kung hindi na ulit yung storyline, mag-evolve lang na mag-evolve sa panibagong trope, like, the recent one, the loved one. They're opposites who are trying so hard to be mirror of each other, but trying to mirror each other is what broke them apart. And I'm not here to, analyze this movies and series, but if you want, let me know. So, kung hindi totoo ang opposites attract, then why are we attracted to our opposites? So, personally and unconsciously, I am attracted sa mga tough looking guy because I also want to look tough, strong, and independent. And that, my dear, is what we call projection. So, Carl Jung explained in his Jungian theory or psychology yung shadow self. Shadow self is part of the unconscious mind and contains all the hidden, repressed, and rejected parts of your personality that you do not want the world to see. And later on, pinalawak ng other psychologists yung idea, and now we have the golden shadow and the dark shadow. Golden shadow contains the positive qualities we've never developed, like talents, strengths, or ways of being na ina-admire natin sa iba because we don't see it in ourselves. While the dark shadow contains our disowned gifts and, disowned wounds. And now, dito papasok yung projection. According to Jung, we have the inner image of our contrasexual other called anima, or in a man, and animus in a woman. This is the projection that creates the experience of falling in love. And the society, for example, expects women to be nurturing and cooperative. Na isasantabi madalas yung masculine side natin, which is the animus. So, when a woman meets a man who, has this masculine traits na suppress niya, she's projecting it to the man and she falls in love. And when you're projecting, the result is, this very intoxicating, overwhelming romantic love. So, actually, nung nabasa ko to, napaisip ako, if the anxiety of being opposites give you the intoxicating, consuming feeling of love, is that why the healthy relationship of similar couples is, perceived boring? We don't know. And an article from the Jungian Vault states that the person you fall in love with is never simply the person they are. They are that person plus your projected soul image. And it's worth noting that every one of us projects, be it our fears or aspirations, like we do. And ang problema lang is if you expect your partner to always embody those projections, because people are evolving and the traits that you were projecting to them might disappear. And if that happens, then what? So, when I was younger, I was always attracted to people na magaling sumayaw because I got bullied once dahil matigas yung katawan ko. And I don't know, maybe that created a wound in me and I projected that to other people. And same sa guys are tough looking, and once they start being vulnerable, I could sense my right foot outside the door. But that was before, guys, don't hold that against me. But yeah, it's actually why self-awareness is also important. Like, save yourself and other people, and speaking of self-awareness, we couldn't stop ourselves from projecting because it's our unconscious mind doing the work. And how can you stop it if you have no idea na ginagawa mo yun? So what we can do is recognize our shadow self and this is not a one-time catch. It's, a practice. Kapag may namit tayong tao and we're like, I think I like him, then ask yourself, am I just projecting? If so, ano yung pinoproject ko? And in my theory, if we do that enough, we can, see past our own shadow and see them just for who they are. And yeah, that's all for this video and for this article. So, see you in the next one.